Eala turns focus on Australian Open doubles after loss to Parks. Manila, Philippines. Eala shifts her focus to the 2026 Australian Open doubles after a tough first-round loss in her main draw debut in Melbourne. Eala couldn't sustain her strong start, bowing to American Alicia Parks, 6-0, 3-6, 2-6, on Monday. The match marked her debut in the Australian Open main draw after 3 consecutive exits in the first round of the qualifiers. Her Australian Open campaign, however, is not yet over as she teams up with Ingrid Martins of Brazil in women's doubles. The world number 49 Eala and Martins take on Magdalena of Poland and Shuko Aoyama of Japan on Tuesday. The 20-year-old Eala will work with the world number 80 Martins, who beat her in the Wimbledon doubles first round when the Brazilian and Quinn Glisson beat Eala and Eva Lies 6-4, 6-2 last July. Eala's first Grand Slam title was in the 2020 Australian Open Junior doubles, when she and Priska Nugroho of Indonesia ruled the tournament. She was also a 2021 French Open Junior doubles champion, with Oksana Selikmitova of Russia. The Rafa Nadal Academy graduate reached the second round of last year's French Open doubles with Renata Zarazua of Mexico, beating Emily Appleton and Yvonne Caval-Raimais 7-5, 6-4 in the first round. They lost to Olga Danilovic and Anastasia Potapova 6-1, 6-3 in the next match. Early this month, Eala, with American Eva Jovic, reached the ASB Classic semifinal in Auckland, New Zealand. The court was still warm when Eala gathered her things, the echoes of the last rally lingering like a held breath. Across the net, Alicia Parks had already begun her quiet victory ritual. Towel, water, a nod to the crowd, while the Australian sun pressed down with the kind of brightness that feels personal. For Eala, the loss stung, not because it defined her, but because it asked a question every athlete must answer sooner or later. What now? What now? For Eala, was not retreat, but redirection. She walked off Rod Laver Arena's outer court with the posture of someone who knows the tournament is not finished simply because one door has closed. In her bag were still strings to be tuned, shoes to be retied, plans to be redrawn. The Australian Open had more tennis waiting for her, and doubles, often treated as a supporting act, was about to become the main stage of her focus. The quiet after the storm. Loss is a particular silence. It is not loud like victory. It does not announce itself with applause. It settles. Eala felt it as she sat on the bench afterward, towel draped over her shoulders, eyes fixed somewhere between the baseline and the future. Park's power had dictated much of the match, her serves like punctuation marks that ended sentences too soon. Eala had countered with movement, timing, and the stubborn refusal to disappear, but tennis can be ruthless in its arithmetic. On that day, it did not add up. Yet even in defeat, there were details Eala carried with her. The way her retain found depth late in the second set, the feel of the ball off her backhand when she trusted it, the rhythm she caught for 3 games that felt like her tennis. These were not consolation prizes, they were clues. Next match, she told herself. Not next season. Not next year. Next match. Doubles as a choice, not a consolation. Doubles is often misunderstood. To some, it is the place players go when singles slips away, a softer landing. But for those who understand the geometry and psychology of the game, doubles is its own demanding art. It requires trust, anticipation, communication without words. It rewards courage at the net and punishes hesitation. Eala chose it deliberately. There is something fitting about her turning to doubles at this moment in her career. She has always been a player shaped by systems, by academies, by teams, by the collective push that sharpens individual ambition. Doubles brings that sensibility to the forefront. It asks her to share the court, to multiply instincts rather than isolate them. In the practice courts the following morning, the mood was different. Lighter, but not careless. Eala moved with purpose, feet quick, eyes alert. The loss to Parks had not drained her, it had clarified her. In doubles drills, she found joy in the split step, in the quick exchange at the net, in the silent agreement between partners that this ball is yours, that one is mine. Resetting the mind. Elite athletes speak often of short memory, but what they mean is selective memory. Eala did not erase the singles loss. She filed it. The emotional residue, frustration, disappointment, hunger, was repurposed as fuel. In doubles, the margins are tighter. There is less time to brood between points, less space to drift. If one point goes wrong, the next arrives almost immediately, demanding attention. For Eala, this rhythm was a gift. It pulled her out of the inward spiral that singles losses can create, and placed her squarely in the present. Between points, she communicated, sometimes with a nod, sometimes with a quick word. The court became a conversation rather than a confrontation, and in that conversation, she rediscovered something essential. Tennis could still be fun, even now. Learning in public. The Australian Open is an unforgiving classroom. Every lesson is taught under bright lights, every mistake archived by cameras and commentators. But Eala has never been afraid of learning in public. Her career, from junior triumphs to early professional battles, has unfolded with an openness that suggests confidence not just in her talent, but in her capacity to grow. Doubles offered new lessons. When to poach, when to hold, how to read an opponent's shoulders rather than the ball, how to trust a partner enough to commit fully to a play that might look reckless to the untrained eye. These are skills that do not stay confined to doubles. They bleed into singles, the improved reflexes, the sharper returns, the comfort moving forward. In this way, focusing on doubles was not a DT. It was an investment. The broader picture. For players like Eala, the journey is rarely linear. There are peaks that arrive early and valleys that test patience. The loss to Parks was not a referendum on her future. It was a snapshot of a moment when one player executed better on one day. What defines careers is not the absence of such moments, but the response to them. By choosing to turn her focus toward doubles, Eala demonstrated a maturity that belies her age. She refused the narrative of disappointment and replaced it with one of opportunity. She acknowledged the loss without letting it consume the tournament. In the stands, fans noticed the shift. The intensity was still there, but it was accompanied by a looseness, a smile exchanged after a well-played point, a fist bump that carried genuine belief. This was not survival tennis. This was engagement. Beyond Melbourne, whatever the outcome of her